Hello, everyone. So this is a special mini episode where I'm going to be sharing one of my own belief bookmarking voice memos that I sent to myself after the end of my last launch of Reclamation, which closed out in December of 2023. And I wasn't planning on sharing this, but what happened was the other day I had dropped my daughter off at school. And I've just been feeling a lot of anxiety about the launch. Launch just bring up all of your shadows. Launches bring up all of the negative thoughts we have about ourselves, even though circumstantially you would think I'd have all the confidence in the world given how quote unquote well my last launch went. And I'm here to tell you that circumstances aren't going to solve the way that we see ourselves, our self-belief and our mindset. That is always going to be separate work that is in conjunction with growing our businesses. And so in the spirit of transparency, right? And just saying like, hey, I am a business coach. And even when I've had what other people consider successes, I still have to actively coach my brain. And part of how I do that is by leaving myself evidence when my belief is high. And so what happened after I dropped my daughter off at school and I was driving to the gym and I just felt this anxiety in the pit of my stomach, and I've been getting coached on it as well. But then I said, oh, I wonder, did I leave myself a belief bookmarking voice memo after my last launch? I didn't remember if I did, but I was just like, if I am the person that I know I am, and I believe in my own frameworks, I probably did. I hope I did. Y'all, I totally forgot that I had left myself this voice memo, and I left it to myself on December 19th, 2023. It's an 11-minute voice memo. You're about to hear it. It is titled 176K Launch. And essentially what belief bookmarking is that when your belief is high, or when you are sitting in the evidence of what you want being possible or inevitable, just when your belief is high and your confidence is high, you need to bottle that up in the moment. And the way that I do that for myself is I leave myself voice memos, and I leave them for future me who is going to forget. I leave them for future me who is going to sink inevitably back into, lower level thoughts or critical thoughts or into self-doubt or into scarcity. And because I know myself so well, I know what's probably going to activate it. I know what I'm probably going to be telling myself. And so I just have this belief that I am the best person to coach myself in advance by bottling up the moments where my belief is high. And this is something that you all should be doing, because this is part of building up your self-trust, building up your confidence, building up your identity, and not just throwing away evidence when it presents itself. When new evidence presents itself, if we don't bottle it up and we don't perceive it, it is very easy to just throw it away, because our brains want to wrap themselves around problems, not what's going well. So I'm going to share this voice note with you. Like I said, it's an 11-minute voice note that I left myself a week after my cart closed. And I want to share it with you so that you can kind of hear the mindset that I was in, the little bit of like shock and disbelief, the way that I gave myself credit for things. And I want you to, from this, ask yourself, am I sitting on evidence now that I need to bottle up? Can you leave yourself of whether it's a voice memo or a note or something that you can go back to and anchor into? And what tends to happen when your belief is high? What is happening? Is it after a great client call? Is it after a speaking engagement? What tends to be happening that helps your belief be high? And how can you bottle it up in the moment and start to create your own belief bookmarking bank? I have a separate podcast episode. If you look back, I forget which episode it is, about my belief bookmarking process. It is a core foundational concept in Reclamation. Honestly, it supersedes a lot of the strategy, because if you're not doing belief bookmarking, you're probably asking questions from a place of low belief. And so it has absolutely changed my life. In that episode, I talk about how I created this process based on being in a marriage where I was gaslit and lied to, and I just trusted everybody else but myself, and how I created it to pull myself from that. So it's like a miracle that I am a person who trusts myself as much, and it's because of belief bookmarking. So I'm going to share this voice memo with you. I have many, many, many others in my library, but when I went and I looked to be like, did I leave myself a voice memo? And I did. I was like, oh, thank you, past me. Thank you, December 2023 me. I'm so grateful for my processes. This is why I believe in my processes so much, because I then listened to that voice memo like 3 times over, and it helped me shift out of this like low level, like critical belief place that I was in. And I just, whenever I noticed the doubt creep up, I go back and I listen to this voice memo. Like I said, I have many others, but I leave them for myself in advance, inevitably for the times that my belief will slip. And this is a very human thing. This is something I urge all of you to do in your own way, because this will create so much more safety. It will help you repeat your successes. It will help you not stay in low level belief for, maybe as long as you have in the past. It will give you a tool, a system to allow you to build your identity up and be able to repeat successes and just do so more peacefully. So with that, here is the voice memo that I left myself after my last launch, December 19th, 2023. And like I said, in the spirit of transparency and just really sharing that, like, I am really about my processes. I believe in them so much that I use them on myself all the time. And I am a human, even though I'm a coach, and my own belief needs this as well. And no matter how much I quote unquote succeed, it doesn't mean that I'm just going to be permanently confident. That is just not the way that it works. We have to fight for those beliefs. We're going to fight either way, but it takes so much more effort to not believe than it is to believe. And so I would rather just have systems that support my highest self, that support the highest beliefs that I have about myself. So with that, here you go. And I would love to know what comes up for you when you listen. Okay, so I didn't even think to record this, but I just shared my final launch results with Erica and Liz, and Erica brought up a good point of close your eyes and soak this in and bask this in, bask in this on how this feels, what this is like in your body, and really soak it in. And I had a $176,000 launch. Of Reclamation. It was the third launch and 17 people joined. So with payment plans, it adds up to 176. And 100% of people offered spots said yes, with the exception of there was one person who I told, like, our call went long and I was like, to be honest, I'm not sure I can fully recommend it to you. And I said, look, like, I have this other smaller group. And then she's just like, well, what do you really think? Do you think that I would be good for the group? And I was like, honestly, I think you could go either way. Here's the difference. And you make a decision. And then she said she wanted to wait for the smaller group. So I don't even count that as a no, because I honestly told her, like, I wasn't 100% sure that I could recommend it to her. So I still say it's 100% of the people that I recommended it to said yes. And I did things my way. I just am really, really proud of myself, because this entire launch, everything leading up to it, I'm proud of myself for spending an entire quarter investing in my business, investing in the rebrand, in the photo shoot, in the podcast, launching all of those things. Like, the podcast was a launch, the rebrand was a launch, deciding that I wanted to do a live event and investing in that before I knew what the results were going to be. There was so much that I invested in and banked on in Q3 when I made the least amount of money in my business, because I believed in myself and I believed that it was the best thing for me and the best thing for my business. And I was prepared to have my back either way. I think that all of those decisions together are what contributed to this launch, because not only did I do things my way, which helps because whenever I do things my way, I believe in what I'm selling. I believe in how I'm selling it. I'm more compelling, but also investing in this rebrand and the podcast and the live event, and then having testimonials this time around, having a website that people can learn about the program. All of those things really contributed to me being able to just convert more people that I hadn't been interacting with, because the majority of people who joined were not people who, like, I expected to apply. And they were watching me, and 17 out of the 19 applied within the first 48 hours. So that meant I did a great job of building brand awareness and preparing my audience for the doors to open before they opened. So anyhow, I recorded a whole podcast episode on this. So I guess the whole point of this is for me to maybe not talk about how I did it, but just to say, like, damn, I created $176,000 in sales in less than 2 weeks. 225,000 in sales in Q4. And it still feels very surreal to me, because it's more money than I've ever made in a short amount of time. that was roughly the salary that I was offered at the last job that I turned down. I was offered 180 to be in a position that I know that I have the brand, the program, the marketing, the skill set, the reputation to command that much in sales in such a short time is just such a turning point in my identity that I think I'm still wrapping my head around it. And yeah, like I'm really, really proud of myself. Like it took so much of me banking on myself for me to get here. So much investments, so many things that I did that I knew that I had to continue on with the right decisions, even though I had money, drama and scarcity and I was spinning out and all these things. But like, basically what I want to tell future me who's listening to this is, you know what you need and you know what your business needs. You have the ability, you have cultivated the ability to objectively look at your business. It doesn't mean you're not going to have bodily reactions. It doesn't mean you're not going to have fears, but you have cultivated the skill set of looking at yourself and looking at your business individually and collectively to say, what does this person, myself, and this business need to grow? What does it need? And I know the answer to that. And this time, that is what I did. I looked objectively at my business and I knew what it needed and what I needed to grow. So hiring Sonia to be my somatic therapist has been hugely life-changing. All the investments that I made in my business, I knew strategically that it was time for them and that it was going to make sense and it was going to pay off. And they did. And I was right. And I am an excellent businesswoman. I am an incredible, phenomenal marketer. I'm a phenomenal coach. People want to work with me. And I created that. Like I've worked hard to get here. This did not just happen. I have put in so much work, so much belief, so much to create this. So I just want to tell myself, if I ever forget this, that like, you are one of the best fucking business coaches, especially for people who generally go unseen, especially for women of color. Like I'm a much better business coach for women of color because I actually bring in the things that make business challenging. I think I was able to succeed as a single mother, as someone who's still going through a healing process, as someone who was still openly grieving and angry about the genocide in Palestine and who talked about it openly, who lived very loudly in my values. I'm so fucking proud of myself because there were a lot of people who didn't say shit and who claimed that they fucking care about people of color and anti-white supremacy and all of this, but they didn't say a fucking thing. With me, I'm just so fucking proud of myself because I'm like, try me. I am the same person no matter how you get to know me. I walk the walk. I don't just talk the talk. I'm about my shit. And a lot of people aren't. And this whole fucking thing, I'm just so proud because like my people needed this example. I sat and like shamed myself for so long for being like, oh, maybe I don't have what it takes. I don't have the personality. I care too much, all this. And I'm like, damn, I just made hella money giving a fuck about people. I just made $176,000 while giving a fuck about people. That's exactly how I made the money. And I'm just so fucking proud of myself because I literally am the antithesis of all the fucking bro marketing, all the bro marketing mindset that is in women of color. And I just busted all of those myths just by being my fucking badass self. And damn, like I am the shit and I'm so fucking proud of myself. And I don't mean this in an egotistical way, but like, holy shit, dude. I want to be like, I cannot believe it, but I'm just like, no, this is actually what it takes. So I want to remember this as I go into 2024 because I've already made a big investment, a big decision in joining $2 million group. And I guess what I want to remind myself of in this moment is you know best. You are brilliant. You are so experienced. You are a phenomenal businesswoman. Forget what you were told about not being a business coach and that you should do something different. Like I honestly am such a phenomenal coach and businesswoman. And to remember that no matter who I'm being coached by, that like I have a very strong skill of discernment to be able to take something and then decide how to apply it in my business because I am a leader and because I've worked really hard to cultivate that. My example doesn't exist. I'm not going to find validation of it fully anywhere because I am creating it. I'm creating the blueprint. I'm creating the stamp. So whenever I look around and then I think like, oh, I'm making myself wrong for something, I'm not wrong. I'm just an originator. I'm the originator of the way that I do things. So that's okay that I'm not going to find full validation for the way that I want to do things because like I said, I'm blazing that trail. And I guess the other thing is that inevitably when I get to a point of discomfort next year for whatever reason that is, whether it's about client satisfaction, whether it is about a big investment, whether it is a team, whatever that is, I just want to remind myself like I know how to solve problems. I'm very good at solving problems because I've shown myself that over and over and that I can handle whatever comes. And that I know how to ask for coaching, how to decide what to take in coaching. I know more than I give myself credit for. So sometimes I'm going and I'm asking for coaching, but I actually know what I want to do. And just, to know that like my community needs me to continue to be who I am because they need that example. And in many ways, I've signed myself up to go first. So yeah, that's what I want to remind myself of. And just that I'm so proud of me and that, there's more to come. And I really believe that I think that I'm going to really be in the spotlight in a new way that I'm still not accustomed to where I am now, but I think I'm going to have more eyes on me in a way that feels uncomfortable to present me. But it's going to be mostly good things. Obviously with attention always comes, a shadow side, but that's okay. So yeah, $176,000 in less than 2 weeks. And I did that. Wow. So proud of you, Mariela.